back to Breakfast Television. He's a transformational coach and a world-class mentor to world-class athletes who have competed at the World Championship levels, the NHL, and the Olympics. He's worked with PK Subban, the Montreal Canadiens, and Dave Bolin, who's won 2 Stanley Cups in the NHL. Dan Blackburn is here with his latest book, When the Puck Drops, 17 stories that will shock and rock you and inspire you. Dan, it's so good to see you because I was so excited about this segment because it talks about something that I know fairly decently, which is transitioning as an athlete, whether it's into the CFL, into the NHL, into a major league sport, and then out of it. Now, tell us exactly what a transformational coach is and how you approach that.
Transformational coach, what I do is I help people see the reality, see their truth, see the environment, and then help them get so locked into what they want that it's not so much about having to make something happen, it's about doing the right things so good things happen to you.
Right, because a lot of people think that transformation or transition, is at the end of someone's career. When they're transitioning out, how are they going to make it in the real world? But in essence, there's always transition that's going on, and a lot of it is happening way before we ever see who the actual athlete is.
Right, absolutely. I know there's times when I'm driving in traffic, I feel it's time to transition. I want to get out of a lane. I'm frustrated the traffic's slow. But yeah, athletes and also in the corporate sector, it's always about transition. It's about how do I see the scenario that I'm looking at? How do I see it differently so I can create a different outcome and I can get more momentum and travel and get more opportunity.
Okay, so you talk about working with a guy like PK Subban about how at 9 or 10 years old he already had the mindset. For those athletes that are going to succeed that don't have that mindset, how do you implement that in them?
Well, some of it has to be they have to recognize that they want the support, they want to get the edge. And, it's great that in our culture here in Canada in hockey, athletes are looking to get better. They're looking for that edge. So someone like PK Subban, when I worked with him, 8 years old, parents looked at him, looked at me like I was crazy. An 8-year-old kid. And yet he had this fire, he had this determination. I don't know if you know someone that you played football with, but you just know no matter what happened, they were always going to have their game face on, they were always going to get it done. And so it's about teaching athletes. That is a teachable skill. That's something that they can use, they can plug in, and they can apply to their circumstances.
Okay, so when the drive as a kid is not monetarily bound whatsoever, it's all about the love of the game. And then they transition to the fact of the matter is that they're going to be making a lot of money really soon. How do you keep their heads level, knowing that that's their next biggest transition to go from pretty much, being an unknown to being the richest, most famous 19-year-old on the planet?
Right. Well, it's about getting so polarized to their passion, to what they love. So when I have an athlete or I have a business executive, it's about getting them to see what that opportunity will create for them and how they fill their cup. I call it Joy Island.
Right.
We were as kids. We remember what it was like when you were 2, 3, 4 years old. It didn't matter what the outside circumstances were. Yeah. There was a red car. I'm going to play with that red car until I have nothing left. So it's teaching people. Imagine if you could live, that none of the outside circumstances mattered. All that mattered was you were so focused and so connected to what you want. You were just going to drive that baby and you were going to just have a good time doing it.
Now, what do you do with guys like me who are maybe too stubborn to listen to the advice? Transitioning.
Well, we help you get into broadcasting, and then we help you transition into another part of your career.
Okay, so we have to talk about your event coming up March 10th. What is the event? Where is it? How can people find out?
InnovatingLivingSeminars.com.
Yeah.
It's an event. So a lot of the work I do now is with athletes, but also I've transitioned to helping business executives. So the event on the 10th is if you're a business executive, a business owner, and you're looking to start a business, you want to transition from your career to a business, come on out and hear myself and other great speakers.
And people don't realize how closely related business and sports are, so the correlation is right there.
Yeah.
Where can people pick up your book?
DanBlackburn.com.
DanBlackburn.com.
Absolutely.
And for more information, we'll have all that on breakfasttelevision.ca. Dan, thanks so much for being here.
My pleasure.
Now you've got me thinking about my next transition, which is to break. And that segue. We'll be back with more Breakfast Television after this. It's so cool.